Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Brothers Discuss. I'm Alex,
And I'm Chris.
and we are continuing our MCU marathon with the ninth film, Captain America: The Winter Soldier. And where to start with this one?
It's
uh,
really a masterpiece.
what was your expectation going into this film, if you remember?
Um, I don't really remember it too much. I mean, I don't know. It didn't seem like it was going to be too big of a deal. It was just a Captain America sequel. It's just him in the modern day now. I was kind of expecting like that to be a major challenge for him, is having to adapt in the modern era, which it is. That's the one of the main themes about the movie. But yeah.
Well, I was obviously very excited for this film. I went into this with a lot of expectations, and I didn't really want to because I didn't want to be disappointed, but I couldn't help it because early reviews were all extremely positive. I loved the look of the film, and I think Marvel might have a home run here. And when I first saw, my immediate reaction was not only was this the best film that Marvel Studios put out, but this may be the best superhero film since maybe The Dark Knight. At that time, it felt like there wasn't anything I could heavily criticize. I mean, there may be a few things here or there, but it was as perfect a film as I could expect for Captain America after being awoken from the ice and trying to find his place in the modern world. I think this is a fantastic film, and not only did it reach my expectations, it blew them out of the water. I love
Yeah.
this film.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And it's interesting looking at the Phase 2 films so far, where to me, Thor 2 and Cap 2 really play off their first films more than they play off of Avengers. I mean, they obviously bring up Avengers without necessarily jumping off of the events of the Avengers, whereas Iron Man 3 did that more than Iron Man 2 and 1. I felt with this, especially when all the stuff of Hydra plays a huge role here. It really helps us feel like a sequel. I mean, it feels like another chapter for the character, but it feels like if you've seen First Avenger, you will like this more than if you went into this only having seen the Avengers, which I'm sure may have happened with some people when they saw
Oh,
this
oh yeah.
film.
Oh yeah.
And there's one thing I remember thinking before we saw the film. I was wondering, or rather, I was just going into this wondering like why Cap wanted to join Shield, because in the trailer he was saying like, this isn't freedom, this is fear. I joined Shield to protect people, and I was like, but you're Captain America. Why do you stay around then? I wanted to see how the film was going to explain that, and they did it in one beautiful scene with Peggy. That scene, it really got me. It was an emotional scene. That one tugged on the heartstrings for me. Any thoughts on the Peggy scene?
Oh, yeah, I thought it was really good. I probably didn't get me as much as you, but yeah, I thought they both did a really great job. Motion capture, the half motion capture on Peggy looked really great.
It's
Um,
amazing that it's CG.
yeah,
Tremendous stuff.
and that's the thing you're gonna just keep hearing. Like Marvel does this so many times where they um, digitally de-age or age up actors, and they know what they're doing. Like other franchises
Hmm.
try it, but Marvel has
Yes.
got the formula with that.
And I thought Skinny Steve looked a lot better in this as well. I thought
Hmm.
that improved a bit, and obviously there's less of it in here and than
Right.
there was in the first Avenger, and it doesn't bother me in the first Avenger at all. But there are some parts where it may look like a little weird.
Yeah.
I always look at Benjamin Button as a good example of great older, younger effects on actors, and they definitely replicated that here. And I mean, we'll talk about how great the action is, but I felt this had the action and the humor of Avengers, but it also managed to cross over into other genres of film. That's why I say I like this over the Avengers, because as much fun as Avengers is, the story is incredibly basic. And that's all it needed to be for the first film, where they
Right.
come together. And in the grand scheme of Marvel, it was a great step in bringing everybody together. And I love the film. But when you stop and think about it, there isn't really much of a story. Whereas here,
No. Yeah.
there's a very in-depth story, and there was more to the story than the advertising made you believe. And
Hmm.
how well kept a secret all of the Hydra stuff was, I mean, compare that to another film at that time, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, where if you watched all the TV spots and the trailers, yeah, you would know all the dirty secrets of the film. But when you look at how the Winter Soldier was advertised, it was very classy.
Right. Yeah. Completely agree.
And do you remember your reaction to the Bucky reveal? Did you know that Bucky is...
If you're someone who's not familiar with the comics at all and no idea like of these big stories, this would be a huge moment. I mean,
Mhm.
and I don't really remember from our theater because that's holy
I
cow.
do.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
remember.
but I can imagine there was a lot of gasps and all of that, which is great because they really did it well. They didn't like overdo setting up that Bucky could be potentially this Winter Soldier
Mhm.
because Bucky doesn't really have his introduction until he's revealed to be the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, they do set him up in the Smithsonian scene very early on.
But
Just
that's
sort
it.
of that's really it though.
That's it.
Yeah. I remember when it happened, all these people in the theater gasped and I was like, wow, that's really cool. Like I figure
Right.
with advanced screenings, there's going to be a lot of hardcore fans here, but
Yeah.
it still got a reaction from people each time I saw this film in theaters. And I will say, I'm surprised people recognized him because I wondered if people would even remember what Bucky looked like in the first film. I know
Right.
we see him briefly in a photo, but he doesn't really have much of a distinctive face that people would remember.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'll say another moment that I remember got a reaction each time was whenever Black Widow gets shot. People
Oh
gasp
yeah.
each time Black Widow gets shot because it's like it just happens. It's like whoa.
Yeah.
I
And like
wondered at the time if they were gonna like write off Black Widow, but that didn't happen until Endgame.
right.
But I will. Can we go to talk about like what I think is one of the coolest reveals in this film?
Sure, go ahead.
The reveal of Zola. I thought this was like the coolest thing they could have possibly done.
Yeah.
Like when it happened, I mean, they alluded to like Zola's robot form in the first film a little bit. But then to see it worked here was just like one of the coolest things that this film could have done. And I
Mm-hmm.
know people at the time were upset that wasn't really like a real like robot or anything like that. Or he didn't fight Captain America. It's like, no, I don't need that.
Who cares?
He just fought him with his intellect.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. And to me, that's just like one of the coolest things they could have done. And like, another thing that I love is like Zola's like,
In case you don't know who I am, here's mugshot to me because you don't know. Like, would Black Widow know? Probably not. But then it's like, yeah, I guess he's gone now. He's dead because Alexander Pierce has the line, "Oh, it cost me Zola," and I missed that the first time I saw that in the theater. But when he said that in the second viewing, I was like, "Oh, you mean he's not coming back?" That scene was cool. I thought Bucky was really cool there, just sitting there.
Oh yeah.
yeah. And
Bucky's
he even offers him some milk.
yeah. But Bucky's really intimidating, and that kind of I'm going to tie this into the action a little bit because, and this is just talking about Russo brothers in general. It's not exclusive to this movie. Russo brothers knows how to make a situation incredibly, incredibly tense.
Yeah.
Like they are geniuses at that. And and yeah, this movie is it's so tense. Like just the more like the more you progress, it and the more you understand of like what get a hold on what's going on. It just oh my god, it's so good.
Yeah. Going back to Zola real quick. See, I'm a Captain America fan, but I'm nowhere near as well read as other fans, I'm sure. But Arnim Zola was one of the things I really liked about the first Avenger, and I love Toby Jones. I think he's great. He's a tremendous actor, whether it's him playing Hitchcock or Dobby or my personal favorite, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. I was hoping they were going to bring him back in some way.
But I wasn't expecting them to do the whole robot thing because I felt that would have been a little too weird of a reveal. But they managed to do it in a way that just made sense, and it's a change that works within the context of the film. And it's similar to apparently At one point, the Russos thought of making Alexander Pierce the Red Skull.
But they decided not to. And the reasoning they decided not to do a Red Skull reveal in that film is because it's kind of funny because they're like, we already had to explain that Zola could somehow come back as like a robot or computer brain. Like it'd be an even bigger stretch to then have to say, oh, Red Skull is somehow here as well.
Yeah.
So I was fine with that. I thought they were going to bring in Red Skull, but I didn't go into the film expecting that. But I thought he was going to be a villain here in some way. But Robert Redford is a great actor, like newsflash. But
Yeah.
I thought he did such a great job at making you think that he was not a bad guy for a while. When he's talking to the council and is like, what are you calling for my resignation? And like his conversations with Nick Fury, or like when he tells Steve, why do you think we're having this conversation? Stuff like that. I thought he did a tremendous job at making you think that he was not going to be evil.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Did we like Scarlett Johansson in this movie?
Oh yeah, I thought she was great in this.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on her hair? Because I know it's a big talking point amongst fans.
Personally, she has a lot of different hairstyles in the MCU. I'm actually going to say this is my favorite.
Oh, really?
I'm going to say this is my favorite.
Interesting.
Partially, I don't know. It's simple, and I'd say it's probably the most comic accurate out of all of them. Not that it really matters, but like
right. See, a lot of people were talking about her hair when the first trailer hit, and people were like, well, why are you talking about her hair? It's not that big a deal. And I'll reference that real quick. I like the fact that in pretty much every single film she's in, she has a different hairstyle because she's a spy.
Exactly.
And one of the plot points of this movie is that she is constantly changing her life and changing her identity. And there's that line Cap says where it must be a hard way to live. And she says it's a great way not to die. Personally, I really like her hair in Iron Man 2. And I had no idea why they changed it in Avengers at all, but here it's really flat. I like it. It's not my favorite hairstyle of hers. I also really love the scene in the car where she says, like, was I your first kiss since 1945? No, I'm 90, not dead.
Yeah.
Whatever the line was. And Chris Evans and Scarlett Johansson had good chemistry together.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, in that car scene, there's a callback to the 1990 Captain America movie.
Yes, there is. Have you ever seen that film?
I've seen that part. I haven't seen the whole thing.
I haven't seen the whole thing either, but I think that's a great reference. I also love the Apple Store scene.
Oh yeah,
that scene's great because we've all been to the Apple Store, presumably.
Right.
Those guys always come up to you and ask if you need any help, and I just love how Chris Evans says like, "Yeah, we're getting married." Like that made me laugh.
Along with it, yeah.
But just the whole specimen bit made me laugh. What else to talk about? Smithsonian scene. I like that scene actually in the beginning.
Yeah.
I like that just because I think that my favorite part of it is like the kid that stares at him, and Steve just goes like shh, and like that's a classic superhero moment. That's just great.
Yeah, it's great.
I remember joking at the time in the second post-credit scene of this film that Bucky does the same thing to the same kid, but except with his metal arm. It just makes like the scream sound from his theme song.
Right.
We should talk about Stephen Strange.
Oh yeah, he's brought up in here as a
this is
potential threat.
His first reference in the MCU, and I guess technically his second reference in a film. And the first, of course, being Spider-Man 2.
Two amazing superhero movies.
Yeah. But yeah, when they name dropped Stephen Strange, I remember I squealed like the Prometheus theme. And I was the only one in the theater that did that. And I felt alone. I was the only one in the theater that picked it up.
Hmm.
So that was great. And then, poor Sitwell.
Oh my God, Penske trucks are vicious in this movie.
They are. Like, I thought he was going to be that one SHIELD agent that popped up in all the films and he would have a gig for life, this actor. Poor guy. He was evil. Pure evil. But he has left behind a great meme along with Senator Stern in this film.
Yeah.
Senator Stern was amazing.
Yeah, that was nice. That was a nice twist right there, got Senator Stern's
Of all the
Hydra.
characters to bring back, like him from Iron Man 2, like,
And to make
good
them
job.
part of Hydra.
That's amazing.
Right.
Let's talk about Falcon real quick.
Oh yeah.
Falcon's amazing.
I love Falcon.
Yeah.
And
go ahead.
Falcon's great in here, and I also really like him in Civil War.
Until he sort of gets pushed aside in Infinity War and Endgame. But his show was good at the end of the day. And I actually like that his introduction, that whole, like, the little opening sequence. It's a calm opening, and having been to Washington D.C., that whole area around, like, the Lincoln Memorial or what have you, it's really beautiful, and it is a place where people would jog.
I love how you can see Falcon running, and for a second you might think it's Steve, but then you see someone running even faster, and you're like, oh, there's Steve. Or, oh, there's Quicksilver on your left.
On your left.
I really like that opening, and I haven't seen a whole lot of Anthony Mackie's work before this film, and after seeing this film, I thought, wow, he's going to explode after this. He's going to be a big star. But
yeah,
the funny thing was, like, when they cast Falcon, I thought, I know Falcon's important, but I don't need to see Falcon in this film. But they found a way to make him instantly likable to someone who didn't really like him. Like,
right.
Really well done. He was great.
Yeah, and he didn't steal the spotlight at all. It's still Steve's movie, but he has a great role in it.
He does, and I love towards the final battle where Cap gives the inspirational speech. Falcon just goes, "Did you write that down?" Like, it's one of those film cliches where the hero gives the speech, but the fact that they followed up with, like, "Oh, did you write that down?" Like, that's great. And he had a lot of funny lines, and he was sort of the comedic relief character without being too overbearing. And just to bring Avengers back, there are times in Avengers where I felt like slapping Tony in the face. Like, my God, can you take this seriously for 5 seconds? But Falcon wasn't that sort of annoying. So I have a question. Did Fury's, the reveal of Fury not being dead bother you?
Not really, if I'm being honest.
It doesn't bother me either, just because
Yeah.
I feel it's a totally Nick Fury thing to do. He dies pretty much every week.
But it's like, another thing is, like, so Tony goes through all of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s files in the Avengers, and he didn't pick up on Hydra at all.
That is true.
But I don't care. I don't care. The movie's great.
See, I had a feeling they were going to tease killing Fury off, and when they actually did it, I thought, oh, wait, there's that scene in the trailer and, like, all the TV spots I've seen where he goes, well, I guess you're giving the orders now, Cap. And I thought, we haven't seen that.
Right.
Now, that could be a deleted scene, but they convinced me that he was dead. Like, I thought that was well done. Can we take a moment to talk about calculations?
Okay.
Oh, my God. When he showed up, I was so happy. It's just one of those things where he's like, oh, it's calculations. Mr. Lau himself. Here's one nitpick I do have. Speaking of calculations, so towards that final battle where it's revealed that the S.H.I.E.L.D. councilwoman is actually Black Widow, and she, like, kicks ass for a little bit. I was a little disappointed that it wasn't actually, like, the legit councilwoman kicking ass. Because then I want to see everyone kick ass. I want to see calculations get on the action.
Right, yeah.
That would have been amazing. But it's whatever. I mean, and I guess that is, like, the one part of the movie where I thought to myself, oh, so we have this technology now. I mean, it's not a big deal that they have it, and it's not explained, but it did come out of nowhere. Like
It's
it's almost like
Shield.
it's almost like it's from Mission Impossible 2 or something.
Well, yeah, it is. They took it off the set that day, but like, I don't care. It's Shield. I can buy it. They have
Yeah.
crazy stuff.
Let's talk about the Fury car chase scene.
Oh boy.
This is such a good set piece right here.
hmm
And I think one of the key components to this is the score by Henry Jackman.
Yeah.
Like the music just ramps up and it just builds so much tension. It's just, oh, it's so good. Like I love when he hits a car and it hits a guy and he goes flying through a bus stop. Like I mean, I laugh every time at how awesome that is.
Yeah.
Like, oh, such a good scene. And
hmm
it's of course, our introduction to the Winter Soldier, and it's all good. It's so good.
Oh yeah. It's great.
Anything you have to say about that scene?
She pretty much said it all. I mean, it's again, it's tense like all of the other action set pieces, and um, the reveal of the Winter Soldier I thought was really well done. How he's out of focus, and then you see him, and then it's great. I love
Mm,
it. It's so great. And then he pulls out a
yeah.
lightsaber to escape. Um,
I'm glad you brought that up because it's like I guess that's another little thing I had is like, did Fury dig through the core to get it out? Or well, I mean to be fair, he has the whole operation in the sewer, so I guess I gather he went through the sewers like a Ninja Turtle, but how he managed to get into Captain America's apartment with a broken arm and not be seen, I don't know.
he's Nick Fury. That's all you
Yes,
need to
yes,
know.
that is true. So yeah, we've talked about all these like character relationships, and I guess the one we haven't really touched on yet is the title character,
The
the
Winter
Winter Soldier.
Soldier.
Him and Steve. But Sebastian Stain was great.
Oh yeah. hmm
I'm joking. So I know it's Sebastian Stan. He's excellent. I'm sorry I went there, people. He's not a stain. But anyways, um, but they convinced me for a second that Steve was going to die in this film. When Bucky starts beating him up and he starts drowning, I remember thinking, oh my God, they might be killing him off here. And the whole releasing images of him on set for Age of Ultron, it's all been so they could fool us into thinking that he doesn't die. They convinced me for a second, but they didn't do that. So I thought, again, this is really well done. This is a testament to just how good this movie is on its own.
Right. Yeah. And yeah, Bucky's
Uh,
great, and in the third act especially, and that whole final showdown between Cap and Bucky is easily my favorite like final showdown in the MCU. Uh,
for sure.
I mean, it is gripping, and then uh, Cap taking on a lot of bullets and tense once again, but also it pulls on the heartstrings when Cap refuses to fight back at the end, and it's so great.
Oh yeah, I love that scene so much. It's
And
so
him
good.
saying like, "I'm with you to the end of the line." Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, and I guess I remember at the time, if there was like a common criticism of the film, it's that the relationship between Bucky and Cap doesn't feel that earned. But it's just moments like that where I can easily forgive it.
Sure,
And like
I
I
guess
get
that would probably be more criticism towards the first movie for kind of
see that
rushing
see
Bucky's
that's
death.
that's exactly what I was thinking of. I think that's more of a fault of the first Avenger for not really developing that friendship a little bit more in that film.
Right. And even then, I
But I
thought they
think
did a fine job in there, but
sure, but I mean I
a
think
little extra wouldn't hurt. Yeah.
exactly.
I think we got everything.
I think so. Oh, we almost went through the whole episode without bringing up Agents of Shield.
We
Uh-oh.
did it, which is funny because this movie actually had a lot of impact on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, and I said this in I forget which episode it was, but I remember when this movie happened and we were also watching Agents of Shield, I was thinking to myself, "Oh man, Agents of Shield is fucked."
Yeah, yeah.
Because
The show writers
uh
are like, rewriting their scripts like as they're watching the movie. Like, oh shoot!
No, I'm sure they had. I'm sure they had some sort of plan with the with what's going to happen with the movies. But I still remember like in the episodes that were tied into the Winter Soldier. I remember everyone was just sort of shouting at each other. They don't know who they could trust. It wasn't a very good scene. I mean, it's not a very good show. Newsflash, but there was that. Then there's like that moment where they heard that Nick Fury is dead. It's like, oh, so there was that going for it. Then Bill Paxton was revealed to be the clairvoyant. Was he the clairvoyant?
I don't know. I don't even remember what the clairvoyant was.
But yeah, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I will forever stand by saying that I think what they should have done with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was season 2 focus on Agent Carter instead and the development of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like maybe do the same thing what you did with the Agent Carter's TV series we got, sure, but instead of like a second season of the characters that are just dumb, like Fitz and Simmons, like come on, who cares about those guys?
Yeah,
do like an origin of S.H.I.E.L.D. itself and make Peggy Carter the focus.
Yeah, sure.
But eventually we did get Agent Carter's show, so it was all good.
Or at least the first season.
Unfortunately, well, yeah, it's true. But unfortunately, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. lasted way too long.
Yeah, overstated.
And I lost it. And I lost interest in it. I don't know. But the fact that they never once brought up Coulson in any of the movies after that, it's just so bizarre to me.
Yeah.
But that's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for you.
Yep.
And even like in the first episode, he's just like walking around town with a megaphone. And everyone's got like cell phones out. There's like security cameras, I'm sure. Like it's not a well-kept secret that he's actually alive.
Right.
Oh, that's not a good show. All right, let's get off of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't want to talk about that show anymore.
I don't think we're done yet because I sticked around with that show. I think I sticked around longer than you.
I think you might be correct.
By a season maybe, and I know this is kind of weird. So I'm going to be jumping to Age of Ultron just for a sec, but
okay.
In that movie kind of gave the vibe that like ever since S.H.I.E.L.D. collapsed and Hydra was kind of revealed, that's Age of Ultron. And
I think I remember that happening.
Yeah, kind of treating it as like this is when they assembled again.
I'm trying to think of like how S.H.I.E.L.D. has been like operating in the movies after this, because it's like in Age of Ultron, like in this film, they destroy all the helicarriers. It's like, where did they get this helicarrier from in Age of Ultron?
Well, no,
where does that come from?
It's the old one. It's the one from the Avengers, because it doesn't have like those like repulsor engines that the new ones have.
But even then, it's just like, is S.H.I.E.L.D. down or is it still around? That's what I don't really understand in the movies. Just watch
if there's anything
Winter
you've
Soldier.
learned from this series, it's just don't watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's too complicated and
I don't like
waste of life.
Wow. All right. Going back to Captain America: The Winter Soldier now. Is there anything else you want to say about this movie? Do you want to talk about the post-credit scene real quick?
Oh yeah, sure. The teasing the twins.
The twins. I actually pretty much called this scene, actually. I had a feeling it was going to be our introduction to Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. I even predicted Baron von Strucker as well, even though I was hoping for Baron Zemo personally, because he has a purple mask and he's cool. But eventually we did get the MCU version of Zemo, and he's great.
Yeah.
But Strucker works just fine. But at the time, I was trying to think of like, well, what does this all mean? Because I tried to interpret it as a few different ways. I mean, for one, I got the impression that either they're mutants, but they can't really flat out say it because of studio rights. but Loki's scepter was there to sort of manipulate the two characters, sort of like what Loki did in the first Avengers film, to brainwash them or whatever. Or it's a bit of both, and maybe like they got their powers from the scepter, which ultimately is kind of what happened.
It's kind of the case. So yeah, in WandaVision, she always was the Scarlet Witch, but like the Mind Stone kind of unlocked her abilities.
Yeah, so I guess So
where does that leave Quicksilver?
Maybe they're just maybe they are just mutants. Maybe mutants do exist in the MCU, and like it just takes like Infinity Stones to like unlock their full potential.
Yeah,
that's how I figure.
Let's go.
That's how I've always interpreted it, anyways. And I guess now that WandaVision has happened, it's sort of confirmed that. So I was like, I'll take what I can get then.
Yeah,
I'll take credit for saying that first. And we sort of talked about the Bucky one as well earlier. You have anything to say about that one?
It was nice, I guess, or yeah, it was creepy that he was reading up on his bio, but
here's something I alluded to it earlier, but Bucky's theme in this movie is just so good.
It's just people screaming, and it's great. So I guess with that out of the way, what is your grade on Captain America, the Winter Soldier?
I'm gonna go with a 9.
I am right there with you. 9 out of 10. It's a really great movie, and like I said in our Thor: The Dark World discussion, this is my favorite MCU movie. It still is to this day. Even with all the Disney Plus shows that have come out, I still think this is the best the MCU has had to offer.
Mm-hmm.
But we've got another good contender for one of the best MCU stuff with the next film, which is, of course, Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, stay tuned for our Guardians of the Galaxy discussion. And we'll see if we can cram in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. references in there somehow. Maybe. I doubt it, though. All right. Take care, everyone. Stay safe. Bye.